Hey yo, I once was a kid, all I had was a dream. More money, more problems, when I get it, I'ma pile it up. Now I'm dope, want the bread we can toast. So fresh how we flow, everybody get the style from us.
I'm here with Jon, and he's participating in what I would call sort of an extreme Ironman race this summer. It's in June, correct?
That's right,
Yep. It's called the Death Race. So where did you hear about this race?
I have a good friend of mine. We served together in the military. He got out last year and started a gym down in Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah.
And he sent me an email, probably in November, saying, "You want to do this with me?" And I looked at it. I just kind of glanced at the website, because the website is youmaydie.com.
It's a little intimidating.
Yeah. And when I looked at it, I was like, yeah, well, whatever. I'll do it. You know, I sent it back, yeah, I will.
Yeah.
And I think, quite honestly, I didn't think he was going to be totally serious about doing this.
Right.
And he said, oh, well, I registered. And I said, well, okay, I guess I'll have to register now. And that's
So.
Yeah.
So you said earlier that you haven't participated in this before. This is your first year doing this,
yeah,
and you just heard about it through your friend.
Yep.
I'm curious though, like what you said you used to serve in the military.
I did.
Like how, or do you still, or?
Nope. My time in the Army ended in 2004.
Okay.
So I've been a civilian since.
So you think that maybe your training there might help you prepared for this a little bit?
Well,
or?
I think that's a very good question. Training is one thing. I mean, as far as the military goes, what will help me, what I always really fall back on, is I was part of the invasion of Iraq in 2003 with the 82nd Airborne Division, and during that time, you know, while we were there, we have a lot of facilities and things like that. For example, I went 30-some days without taking a shower, changing my clothes. So, as far as being uncomfortable for a period of time, I've been uncomfortable for a longer period of time than 3 days for what this race is put up. So what I do fall back on is that, and the experiences that I've had that kind of force your mind to say, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
You know, I've been there before, asking myself, why am I doing this?
So how long is the race? Is it a couple days?
Yeah, they have 3 days blocked off, 72 hours.
When do you think that mental toughness kicks in the most?
The beginning.
Really?
Actually, right now.
Right now?
Yes, right now. Because I'll tell you, it's hard to train for this.
Yeah.
It's hard to, because we don't know what the events are. We have an idea based off of the previous years, but that changes. I think that's great.
And some of the past events were like crawling, like on like a snake crawl, I guess underneath barbed wire fence,
it's
and
like
then dragging a log behind you, and
it's like an extreme distance. It's like a mile or something like that. You know, that's a long time to crawl through the mud.
Yeah.
You know, and then maybe you have to go back. But yeah, I mean, it's that the not knowing what to expect, it makes it difficult to train for that.
Yeah.
So with that type of mentality, with that type of outlook on it, means you have to train extra hard for any possibility that you might.
So then what sort of things are you doing to train, like just strength training and like cardio things?
Yeah, I mean, those are
just the basics.
But I do incorporate some distance runs. Normally the shortest I do are 10 miles, and I'll bump it up on some days to 20 to 30 miles. It all depends. But I mix that into a good regiment of Olympic lifts, and where you have to spend a good amounts of time moving weight. So not like a 30-minute workout, more like an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, or I'll break it up into twice a day to do that. And the main portion of that is just to get my mind conditioned to having to do that.
I mean, it sounds like it requires a lot of training and a lot of preparing. So I mean, you're doing that, and you're doing classes, and you own your own business.
Yes, I do.
So the question is, like, where does all this fit in together? And
it's a good question. It fits together. Yeah. But the parts that get left out are generally sleep.
Okay.
So I mean, as long as you get.
Well, you have to be ready to not sleep. I mean, that's part of it, I guess. It starts at like 4 a.m, doesn't it?
Yeah, it starts like 4. I think it's 4 actually in the afternoon. It might be later than that, but it starts on the end part of the day and then moves through darkness, and then it's whenever you finish. But
so, like, based on previous years, what do you anticipate being like the hardest challenge for you in this race? Like, what part of it is there? A part that you think might be the hardest, or that you're most nervous about?
I'm not really nervous about any of it.
Okay.
And quite honestly, I haven't done any research on it.
Yeah.
A lot of it I get from my friend who's doing the training. We're using kind of the same train up together.
Yeah.
But what I guess what would throw me up the most is trying to do the mental skills as far as puzzles or memorizing and then having to move on top of that, because that's difficult when you're under duress, physical duress, to remember things. And if you're up for 24 hours or whatever, I've had to have stayed up for long periods of time in the past.
Yep.
And I know that your motor skills and especially these cognitive skills really
can't forget some of the things that normally come to you pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So like, does the winner get something? I mean, is there actually crowned a winner? Like, if you come in first place, or are the winners the people that actually just finish?
It's generally that. I don't even know if there's a prize for it, because it doesn't matter to me for it.
Right.
I'm not in it to win it. And like you said, they even have a statement on their website that those who finish are like an extraordinary person or like something like that. Yeah. So that's kind of how it is. I've done races before, road races and trail races and stuff, but this race right here is going to kind of push me into a different genre of boundaries with these type of races. I'm going to start going into more ultra style marathons, which are the extreme endurance races and things like that. So this is a good place to get my feet wet, I think.
There you go. And so I know that like in past years they've only had 20, 30 people do it. I think this year was there a 200 limit?
That's what for the registration.
Do you know what they're at, or?
No, I don't.
And like, what year is this? Do you know? Is this the third, fourth?
I think third. I think it's fourth year actually. I might be wrong on it.
But it's early. It's still newer.
Yes, it is. And I believe I was like one in the 120s as far as my registration.
So they might have filled it up.
It's very possible. If not, they're very close to that too. So it's going to be interesting to have that many people in the race too, just to see. I've run larger races before, and there's always a bottleneck someplace. So.
It'll make it harder with more people in your way. So why exactly are you doing the death race then?
Well, I mean, it's a good question. A lot of the time you get, you talk about a race of this scope and, the preparation that goes into it, because this is, a 5 or 6 month prep time for this race. A lot of people say, well, I wouldn't do that. That's kind of dumb. But I work on limits. I like to find out what my limits are. And, throughout my life, I have. I've found those limits. I've hit those limits. But then I've exceeded those limits. So, with our day-to-day lives that we have now, there's not a lot of opportunity to really push yourself to the extreme. And races like this are good examples, to do that. If you don't really know what you're capable of. First of all, who you are, and then what you're capable of doing. And I think that things like that really extends to life. Not just a physical competition or something fun that we do. That extends to everything.
So, okay, well, good luck in June at the Death Race.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
Thank you for interviewing with us.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, and make sure you guys tune back every week as we meet another average Jack.
Hey yo, I once was a kid, all I had was a dream.